Where did Stratolith come from originally?
It comes from a core concept that you introduced. It was the idea of making a game that has all the action happening off-screen.
Right, that was actually from, there was an Amiga game that I was playing on an emulator that I used to enjoy back in the day called Rules of Engagement, which is basically a very serious, very somber starship simulator. And like a sort of a starship approach to a submarine simulator, you don't see any of the action. There's no like scrolling starfields or anything like that. You see a map, you see a whole bank of controls, and you have very fine control over all of these different aspects of your spaceship.
Right.
And that combined with roguelike games, like ASCII adventure games,
right.
I thought it was really interesting, the idea that when you play enough of those games, like reading a novel, you form in your mind this whole framework, this visual framework for the game, and it becomes just as real, or in some cases even more evocative and more real than just seeing, having it right there in front of you and seeing the spaceship and seeing the explosions and stuff like that.
Yeah, when you're reading a novel, you just see text. That's all you're looking at is text. And or when you're playing a roguelike, all you see are abstract characters, right?
Right.
And so, if you see an ampersand, you can get excited about seeing this symbol appear because that means it's treasure, or maybe it's like this red dragon that's about to kill you or something like that.
Right. So I think we were looking to one aspect of it was we were looking to create a game where all of the action took place in your mind.
Right.
I think halfway through, as you see from the screenshots of Stratolith, not all of it is abstract. Like we have a little bit of blueprint down the bottom for the drones that are attacking you. I think that was because we found if we took it too far in that direction, it became a bit inaccessible.
Right.
I think initially it takes a bit of getting into, and I guess games need to have a bit of that kind of impact when they first hit you,
right?
Which it wouldn't have if it was too abstract. I think.
It also relates to the user that we're targeting, Peter or Fred.
Was it? No, it's Peter now.
Peter, right? Yeah. And Peter's the type of person who likes to play like flight simulators.
By the way, Peter is not actually a real person. We have names for our target users.
Right.
It's
a persona.
Yeah, for Mosaic it was Sandy, and for
Stratolith
it's Peter. Yeah.
Right. So Peter is the type of person who likes playing really hardcore simulator games, right? And they like looking at B-52, Bombardier, control panels and stuff like that.
Right. Anything that would excite Peter, whose chief hobby was creating F-15 Strike Eagle plastic models.
Yeah, right. So that's one reason why we have actual little drone schematic on the bottom, is because we wanted to appeal to those kinds of people, and us as well.
Yeah, basically, it's very easy designing a game for yourself. That's for sure. What other aspects do we have in the game? So I think the idea of matching waves. That was the core initial prototype that you created, wasn't it?
Yeah, initially I worked out this Photoshop sketch of basically a game where you're on the bridge of a starship and people are shooting lasers at you, and you have to adjust shields to block the lasers and to cancel their harmonics. So it was a game about adjusting shield harmonics.
That's why the working prototype version right now has the working title Forced Field Fred.
Yeah.
Because initially it was for not Peter, it was for Fred.
Right.
It was slightly different from Peter. I think it was his neighbour or something, or classmate in school, whatever.
I think they're friends online.
Yeah, we're all friends online, aren't we? No, yes, you're right. It started off as about matching shield harmonics. Why did we change from that to actually having this idea of hacking drones?
Because I think, one, we were just kind of tired of the whole space sim thing. Because, I don't know, just everything is taking place in space nowadays, right? Gravity, Sandra Bullock is in space. Yeah. So, and I think when I think about really good games, they actually have a really specific theme, right? And so space is just way too generic. So when we were thinking about really specific things, we were thinking about future Navy and and bringing it back to the Stratopian universe, right?
Yeah, the future Navy thing again, that started from the music simply. I think we knew that it was going to be sort of a submarine kind of submarine simulator kind of experience. So I listen to the soundtracks for like The Hunt for Red October and Crimson Tide,
Right.
and a lot of those sort of Hollywood submarine movies. It's very Hans Zimmer, so very yeah. And I think I didn't specifically try to make something that sounded like that because I probably, from an ability point of view, I probably couldn't. So I just sort of did my best and tried to make it electronica-ized future navy kind of futuristic feel.
Right.
And that then dictated the rest of the look of the game. One interesting thing I can remember a point when we were tossing up between having a light graphics on black background kind of display, much like the science fiction. I believe they're called FUIs, futuristic user interface.
Right.
That you see in great science fiction movies, and they have like these massive displays with all these like lines and moving and dots and stuff like that.
Right.
There was a point where we were trying to decide between that, the typical bright on dark, or actually having it the other way around and having
Dark on white.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Like the Matrix Zion control.
Right.
Experience. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think just to sort of make it a little bit different, as you said, not too. It's not supposed to be science fiction as in space.
Right.
It's a naval game. It takes place over the ocean, which I think that's why we decided to go more of a grey, sort of light on grey instead of light on black.
Right, and with color, a lot more color.
The original versions actually, we had it. It looked like kind of like an air hockey table, didn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It was like bright graphics on a white. No, dark graphics on a white background.
Yeah.
And that looked nice. It looked nice, but I don't think
it didn't get. It looked nice and it looked different, but it didn't have the mood.
Right.
It didn't have the mood.
Anyway, we've got a lot of big plans for the game, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
We're going to be releasing at the end of this year, hopefully.
Yeah. It's our most ambitious game yet.
It is, and it has the most content from our fictional universe where all of our games take place. Ambion, Mosaic, and now Stratolith. So we're very excited, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot of work ahead of us, but the reception for the game has been very good. All of the Peters of the world have united in common song.
Right.
For
they've spoken. We've listened.
That's right. So we're very excited. It's going to be it's going to be an ambitious project, but it's good fun.
Yeah.
Get it.